Welcome to Vskills YouTube channel. In this video, you will learn about the top interview questions for software testing. So, let's get started. Question number 1. White box technique is also called as? The answer is: white box testing is also known as clear box testing, glass box testing, transparent box testing, and structural testing. It is a method of testing software that tests internal structures or workings of an application, as opposed to its functionality. Question number 2. How many baseline documents requiring many-to-many relationships are used in a traceability matrix? The answer is: 2 baseline documents requiring many-to-many relationships are used in a traceability matrix. A traceability matrix is a document, usually, in the form of a table, that correlates any 2 baseline documents that require a many-to-many relationship to determine the completeness of the relationship. Question number 3. Which type of automation testing builds a model of the application, then enables the tester to create test cases by editing test parameters? The answer is: scriptless automation testing builds a model of the application under test and then enables the tester to create test cases by simply editing in test parameters and conditions. Scriptless is an approach to build an optimized test automation engine by empowering the testing team to quickly build automated test cases by sequencing in ready but reusable code assets to ensure the full test coverage. Question number 4. What are the types of integration and system testing? The answer is: integration testing is the process of testing the interface between 2 software units or modules. Some different types of integration testing are: Big Bang, bottom-up, top-down, and mixed. Question number 5. Could reviews or inspections be considered part of testing? The answer is: yes, reviews or inspections be considered part of testing because both help detect faults and improve quality. Question number 6. Describe the phases in software testing lifecycle. The answer is: some different phases involved in the software testing lifecycle are: first, requirement analysis. Helps to understand and identify the requirements. Second, test planning. Test strategy is defined. Third, test case development. Test cases are defined and developed. Fourth, environment setup. Setup of software and hardware to execute test cases. Fifth, test execution. Comparing the expected and actual results. Sixth, test cycle closure. It involves calling out the testing team member meeting and assessing cycle completion criteria based on test coverage, quality, cost, time, critical business objectives, and software. Question number 7. Should we perform testing only after the build and execution phases are complete? The answer is: we must perform testing after the build and execution phases, as the earlier we catch a defect, the more cost-effective it is. For instance, fixing a defect in maintenance is 10 times more costly than fixing it during execution. Question number 8. Describe the relationship between environment reality and test phases. The answer is: environment reality becomes more important as test phases start moving ahead. During unit testing, you need the environment to be partly real, but at the acceptance phase you should have a 100% real environment, or we can say it should be the actual real environment. Question number 9. A defect that could have been removed during the initial stage is removed in a later stage. How does this affect the cost? The answer is: if at the initial stage a defect is identified, then it should be removed during that stage or phase itself rather than at some later stage. It's a fact that if a defect is delayed for later phases it becomes more costly. If a defect is identified and removed during the design phase, it is the most cost-effective, but when removed during maintenance it becomes 20 times costlier. Question number 10. How do you do estimation for a given project? The answer is: to estimate any project, we must consider the following. Divide the whole project into the smallest tasks. Then, associate each task to team members. Then, estimate the effort needed to complete each task. Thereafter, validate the estimation. Question number 11. Which test cases should we write first, white boxes or black boxes, and why? The answer is: in general, black box test cases are written first and white box test cases later. To write black box test cases, we would need the requirement document and design or project plan, as these documents are easily available at the initial start of the project. On the other hand, white box test cases cannot be started in the initial phase of the project since they require more architecture clarity that is not available at the beginning of the project. Therefore white box test cases are written post black box test cases are written. Question number 12. Why is automation testing and agile methodology considered useful? The answer is, automation testing is considered extremely very useful in agile methodology as it assists in achieving maximum test coverage in a lesser time of the sprint. Question number 13. What is the basis of mapping the success of automation testing? The answer is, the basis of mapping the success of automation testing are defect detection ratio, automation execution time and time savings to release the product, reduction in labor and other costs. Question number 14. How should we explain load testing on websites? The answer is, to access a website, a user sends a request to that website server, and the server sends back a response in the form of the website to which we want to access. Now to load test a website, quality assurance engineers and automation engineers just need to multiply the number of responses sent to simulate different traffic loads. The web server's response to the influx of virtual users can then be measured. This is used to determine performance issues and server capacity. Question number 15. What do you understand by TestNG? The answer is, TestNG is an advanced framework that has been designed in a way to leverage the benefits of both the developers and testers. TestNG also has an inbuilt exception handling mechanism that lets the program run without terminating it unexpectedly. Question number 16. What do you understand by object repository and how can we create object repository in Selenium? The answer is, object repository is the collection of web elements belonging to application under test together with their locator values. Now with respect to Selenium, objects can be stored in an Excel sheet which can be populated inside the script whenever required. Question number 17. What do you understand by workbench concept? The answer is, workbench is a way of documenting how a specific activity that has to be performed. It is often referred to as phases, steps, and tasks. There are 5 tasks for every workbench: input, execute, check, production output, and rework. Question number 18. What do you understand by defect cascading? The answer is, defect cascading refers to a defect that is caused by another defect, such that one defect triggers the other defect. Therefore, when a defect is present in any stage but is not identified, hide to other phases without getting noticed. This will therefore increase the number of defects. Question number 19. How can you find broken links in a page using Selenium WebDriver? The answer is, to find broken links on a page you need to follow these steps. Collect all the links present on a web page based on the A tag. Send HTTP requests for each link. Verify the HTTP response code. Determine if the link is valid or broken based on the HTTP response code. Repeat the process for all links captured with the first step. Question number 20. Which technique should you consider in the script if there is neither frame ID nor frame name? The answer is, in this case, we can use frame by index. For instance, there are 3 frames in a web page and if none of them has a frame name and frame ID, then we can still select those frames by using the frame 0-based index attribute. All the frames will have an index number, like the first frame would be at index 0, the second at index 1 and the third at index 2. Question number 21. How should we take screenshots in Selenium WebDriver? The answer is, we can take screenshots in Selenium WebDriver by using the takeScreenshot function. Also, with the help of getScreenshot as method, you can simply save that screenshot. Question number 22. How to skip a method in TestNG? The answer is, to skip a particular test method, then you can set the enabled parameter in test annotation to false. Question number 23. In software testing, what are the tasks of test closure activities? The answer is, test closure activities can be categorized into 4 major groups. First, test completion check. To ensure all tests should be either run or skipped and all known defects should be either fixed or accepted as a permanent restriction. Second, test artifacts handover. Tests should be handed over for maintenance testing. Third, lessons learned. In retrospective meetings, plans are established to ensure that good practices can be repeated and poor practices are not repeated. Fourth, archiving results, logs, reports, and other documents and work products in the configuration management system. Question number 24. What do you understand by code coverage? The answer is, code coverage is very different from test coverage. Code coverage is about unit testing practices that must target all areas of the code at least once. It is usually done by developers or unit testers. Question number 25. What do you understand by Big Bang approach? The answer is: Big Bang approach refers to the process of combining all the modules once and verifying the functionality after completion of individual module testing. The top-down and bottom-up are carried out by using dummy modules known as stubs and drivers. These stubs and drivers are used to stand in for missing components to simulate data communication between modules. Question number 26. Define the principles of software testing. The answer is: the principles of software testing are: testing shows the presence of defects. Exhaustive testing is impossible. Early testing. Defect clustering. Pesticide paradox. Testing is context-depending. Absence of error fallacy. Question number 27. What do you understand by pesticide paradox? The answer is: pesticide paradox refers to the process of repeating the same test cases, again and again. Eventually, the same test cases will no longer find new bugs. Therefore, in order to overcome this pesticide paradox, it is necessary to review the test cases regularly and add or update them to find more defects. Question number 28. What do you understand by defect cascading in software testing? The answer is: defect cascading refers to the process triggering other defects in an application, such that when a defect is not identified or goes unnoticed while testing, it invokes other defects. This leads to multiple defects in the later stages and results in an increase in the number of defects in the application. For instance, if there is a defect in an accounting system related to negative taxation, then the negative taxation defect affects the ledger, which in turn affects other reports such as balance sheet, profit and loss, etc. Question number 29. What are the types of automated testing? The answer is: types of automation tests are unit testing, smoke testing, functional testing, integration testing, regression testing. Question number 30. What is manual testing? The answer is: in manual testing, a tester manually verifies the functionality of the software. The tester has a comprehensive list of all the test cases they should test, along with the test data. They go through each case, one by one. They launch the software as an end user would, enter the input, and manually verify the output. For more such videos, subscribe to our channel.